flavors that they're wanting to focus on at the moment. So in order to give a proper full review, I'm going to break this up into two parts. Obviously, the first one, this one, is going to be a little bit longer than the second one, just because this is going to have the bulk of the information behind the company. And then the first three flavors, there's 6 that I was so graciously given and honored to receive. So I'll do 3 on this one, and then I will do a follow-up video right behind it in part 2 that will have the other 3 videos, the other 3 flavors in it. Now, the company is called Mister-E-Liquids, and most people that are on Instagram or that are vapors are no stranger to this company. They have their normal line, which is the Mister-E-Liquids, and their newest line that they are wanting to promote and get out there, it is called Reverb. If you can see it right there. Basically, it is a new line. They definitely are pushing this line to be their new introduction into the vaping world. So this is what they're dealing with at the moment, and this is what they're wanting to get out there. Now, a quick backstory on Mister-E-Liquids themselves. They do have their own website. It's Mister-E-Liquid.com. There is a hyphen in between the Mister and the E, and then the E and the liquid. So it's Mister-E-Liquid.com. It basically is it is specific to that. They are based in Grand Rapids, Michigan. There are 3 main stores for them out there. All the specific addresses, hours, directions, and everything else are posted on that part of the webpage. They do also have online, obviously, and they do ship out. They do cover all 50 states, and they do actually cover almost 50 countries outside the United States. So they are pretty big. So make no mistake, this company does know what they're doing. They are no strangers to the vaping business and the quality of their product. Now, about the quality of their product, they make no effort or anything to, in any way, shape, or form, hide what they do or how they make everything. The information that I got out of all of this is directly on their website. So if you go to the website, all of this information is listed there. So they basically are open with how they make it. They want people to know the procedure and the process that they go through, what they do, why they do it, and also to ensure you, whether it's comfort, whether it's safety of knowing, whether it's people who are trying to bash vaping, to show them, you know what, this is what we go through, this is what we do for every single bottle that we make. We don't play around. This is no joke to us. This is what we do, and we take it very seriously. They are certified with AMSA, A-E-M-S-A. It's the American E-Liquid Manufacturing Standards Association, and they do follow their guidelines and rulings as exact as they can. They do use a certified Class 6 clean room, which has been certified by the ISO 14644 standards. So basically, everything that is in those guidelines, that is in those steps as to what it has to have, what it is, what it does, why it needs to be that way, they adhere to, and basically try to keep to that point to make sure that everything they do is quality controlled, that it follows whatever standards are current at the moment, and to make sure that everything that you're receiving is as top quality as possible. Now, all of their ingredients are USA sourced. They are kosher. They are basically 100% pure for the most part. Their nicotine is pharmaceutical grade, and it is as clean as possible. It does go through a cleaning process for that. Their flavors for this line are all handmade. They are specifically batched. They do get steeped in glass tanks for at least a minimum of 14 days. Some of them longer, just depending on how fast they can get everything done. But there is a minimum of 14 days that these get steeped. one thing that I thought was really cool is that everything that they do, the entire process of making, let me fix this a little bit, I apologize about that. In the entire process of making this e-juice, the liquid is always in a glass container of some kind. They do that to ensure that there is no flavor loss. So that, as the procedure goes through its different steps, that, part of the flavoring doesn't stick to or get basically absorbed by plastic, polyurethane, other things like that. The glass basically ensures that all the flavor that it starts with is the flavor that it leaves the plant with. So I thought that was kind of cool. Even their bottles are clear glass. The tanks are glass. They're holding tanks of glass. Everything that it basically is mixed in is glass. So they definitely stick to that. Another interesting fact, if you do go to their website, they do have a couple of links on there that automatically pull up. They have a nicotine educations quick page. It gives you multiple levels of nicotine and roughly who would benefit from using what level at what point, whether you're a couple of cigarettes a day, a half pack a day, a pack a day, things like that. But they break it down so that you feel a little bit more knowledgeable and understanding of what the specific nicotine levels are instead of just trying to guess. And I thought that was really cool. Another one that they have on there is they have for VG, they do actually offer a few different levels of VG for their juices. Not everybody's able to do that. That doesn't make them better or worse than anybody else. They just don't have the ability to offer multiple levels of VG, which I think is kind of cool. So depending on if you are more of a PG or flavor person, you can actually have your juices somewhat custom made so that it doesn't have as thick of a VG content. And then the other option on there is their lab test reports. Now these are reports that basically just show that their juices and their the ingredients that they use and their mix after everything's mixed together and everything else. It tests for diacetyl and acetylpropionyl, I believe is how it's pronounced. I could be totally massacring it, but it does show that there is testing for those two specific chemicals, and verifies that basically there is a very, if at all, amount to where it's non-existent, so that you don't have to worry about inhaling that into your system. So the fact that they add all of that into their website, on top of offering multiple products, not just e-juice, it's a pretty thorough website. So I mean, if you have a chance, if you are interested in ordering this, if your shop already orders it, or if they're interested in ordering it, it's a very informative, thorough website. That is very, very, very cool. They try to make you, like us, me, you, him, vapor community, as informed as possible, so that they don't feel like they're being left out of anything, that they don't understand anything, that they can actually see this stuff on in person firsthand, which is really cool. So that definitely adds to the quality, and it definitely adds to the impressiveness, so to speak, of Mister-E-Liquids. Not trying to say that they're doing this because they want to be considered like ha ha ha, but they want to be known as a quality company that stands by their product, but not only that, basically does everything that they can to ensure that the vaping community is as informed of what they're putting into their system, why it is what it is, where it's coming from, and to ensure that this is how we do everything. With that said, on their website you can purchase the flavors in this. They do come in 30 ml bottles for $17.99. With everything that this goes through to be made, plus being a 30 ml bottle, $17.99 is a really good price. So it's also impressive that they can offer this high quality of product for a decently low price. So that in itself is impressive as well. It is a 70-30 mixture, so it definitely does have a really good cloud production, which I will show you here in a second. Now on the site, when you order the bottles, depending on which flavor you order, they are offered in a 0, a 1.5, which is starting to become a bit more common around the neighborhood, a 3, a 6, a 9, and a 12. So it has a wide range of nicotine levels. And as I stated, they do offer a nicotine info graph that tells you what each level would be best suited for. That doesn't mean it's going to be exact. You know, there are going to be people that smoke a pack a day that may find whatever percentage they say would work for them. Might be too much, might not be enough. It's just a rough idea, so it gives you a starting point at least of where to kind of play around with. And then it also offers on their for their VG, it's a 0, 33%, 50%, and then max. So it kind of gives you a little bit of playroom, but obviously to make the liquids proper, I guess, you can only go in certain areas, or else it kind of really is going to mess with the overall performance of the ejuice. Now, the packaging actually is pretty decent as well. If this was sent to me, or this is how this was sent to me, but it's actually an impressive setup once you go. They send them in a full box like this. It's kind of a glare. I don't know if you can really, I apologize about that. It's like that. Each bottle comes in its own little plastic holder like that. It's just a plastic tube. But basically when they're in the tube, they look like this. But it's very, it's very clean looking. It's very respectful. It's very, it has a quality look to it. It's not something that is considered cheap looking by any means, and it's not something that's just considered a waste of time. Again, that's not to say that other companies, because they don't do this, it looks bad on them. This is just what Mister-E-Liquids is doing for their line. Now, as I stated, I did do 3 flavors for this video. The 3 that I did is Cabaret, Dropsicle, and Dubtronica. Now, basically on the bottle, you've got the name of it, their logo for this line, the name of the flavor, the nic level, bottle size. They have an expiration date, and they also have a lot code. So again, this can be traced if there is a problem with it to ensure that the batch or lot that it came from, whether it was a fluke or if there was a problem with that whole lot, so that they can basically take care of whatever problem that there may or may not have been with that. This also has its own website, as you can see on there, vapereverb.com. I believe it's also connected to the Mister-E-Liquid website as well. It does have the manufactured by Grand Rapids, Michigan. I don't know if you can really see that up there. And then it has the warning label, which is custom. It basically does the flavor profile as well on the bottle, so it's kind of cool. I mean, you can always double check in case you forget what it is. You can always double check on there to see what the flavor is. And then it says your cloud, your performance, chase it. It does have a child safety cap. Now, you can't see it greatly right there, but there is a little inner ring that is locked onto the cap. So once you unscrew this to open it, it breaks that cap seal. Again, California is the main state right now that is requiring all of their bottles to have the plastic safety seals wrapped on them, but that is starting to become common across the board. There are a lot of other companies not based in California that are starting to follow that as well. Right now, these are using the safety seals, which does work as well. I mean, it won't spin if it's locked, so it is pretty decent. The eyedropper as well. So it's a pretty solid, container as well. And like I said, they all are like that, and they all come in this tube. Now, with these 3, actually, I think the easier way to do it is I'm just on the back of the box, which is actually pretty cool too. They also have the flavor profile, so it makes it a little bit easier to read them without having to check each specific bottle. Dubtronica was basically it's several different vanillas blended together and finished on the exhale with a doughy, creamy texture. Basically, it was just a multi-cream flavor that was meant to have. If you've ever had kind of like a roll without any butter or anything on it, but just a fresh roll, not like a croissant or anything flakier, but just kind of like just a regular dinner roll. If you had it without butter or anything on it and just the warm dough taste, couple that with a little bit of different stages of vanilla, strength-wise as far as the creaminess to them, combine all of that together, and that's basically what the Dubtronica basically tastes like right here. Definitely have the cream flavor. Now, the doughy texture, that's basically what it signified to me when I vaped on it. Other people might have a little bit of a different take on that. It's not meant to be a specific flavor. It's not meant to be any one type. It's meant to just be a blended cream taste and have a little bit of firmness to it, which is where the doughy texture comes into play. It is a very smooth vape, however. You get a slight throat kick on it, but that's with all of them that I've tried so far. There is a very slight throat kick, but it is not harsh, it is not strong, it is not overpowering. Once you up the nicotine a bit more and get a little bit more flavor out of it, you probably will notice a little bit more of a throat kick, but again, not so much that you're going to be, hacking your lungs out. But again, very smooth, very mellow, but a solid flavor through. So if you vaped it all day, it's not something that's going to make you sick. Now, Dropsicle is a blend of lemon, peach, and raspberry. The top note of sweet and tart lemon goes through your tongue, and the peach and the raspberry provide the base flavor throughout the vape. Now, this was probably one of the only ones so far that I kind of had trouble getting all of the flavors out of it. The lemon you definitely taste. It blasts you in the front, again, but not so much that you feel like you just bit into a lemon, but it is a strong lemon flavor. The peach I tasted during the vape. The raspberry, I'm not a fan of raspberry, so I can taste it because it's not a flavor that I'm a fan of. However, I didn't really pick it out in this particular vape, which, again, is kind of a benefit, because then I can kind of actually vape on this a little bit more than I probably normally would if I could taste the raspberry. However, for people who like raspberry or who are wanting to taste the raspberry in the vape, for me, again, this is all just my personal opinion. Please don't take this as this is the end-all, be-all, and that I'm trying to tell you for sure this is what it is. If you don't get that, you have no idea what you're doing. No, it is not even close to that. This is just my personal opinion and how I was able to vape on them and how I took to them and how they affected my taste. Again, does not mean that somebody else may not pick out. Somebody else may taste straight raspberry. If they do and they like it, great. If they don't, it may not be their specific flavor. However, with 6 flavors in this line and all of them having a uniqueness to them, it's not going to be hard to try to find one that sticks out for you. Now, the one that I'm going to vape for the video, just to show you the cloud production on this, is the Dark Cabaret. This one is dark chocolate blended with a lightly roasted almond, suggesting a salty sensation. It also finishes on the exhale with a little bit of a tart blueberry. Now, basically, the tart blueberry, I do like blueberries, and the tart blueberry would be if you got ones that were just maybe not fully ripe, so they had a little bit of a kick to them. Honestly, I didn't pick up the tartness as far as that goes. You do taste a bit of the blueberry to that. Hold on 1 second. And the chocolate and the almond, again, neither one sticks out 100% specifically, but you do taste it. And as far as just the saltiness to it, it definitely is there. But I am vaping this on a 60. So real quick here, the Dark Cabaret. Is that not cool? Solid, dense clouds. Definitely hit the blueberry on the very tail end of it, but you do taste a little bit of the chocolate saltiness to that as far as with the almond. So flavor-wise, all 3 of them were definitely on point. Solid vapes, mellow vapes, strong flavoring through so that you taste it all the way through the vape. As you saw, definite clouds on that. So with that, I'm gonna say vape on, vape strong for this one. Look out for my part 2, and I will finish that up along with this video. So I will have my ending speech with that as well. So until part 2 pops out, vape on, vape strong, guys. I'll see you in a bit.